From below towering mountains and along great rivers, the flow of history reveals great historical cities and their cultural legacies. In China's southwestern Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region is a city unlike any other. It is home to the country's youngest volcanic island, Weizhou Island, and the shimmering, pristine silver beach, which stretches for miles. This city was the final retreat of the literary master Su Dongpo, who was exiled here in the Song Dynasty. It was also a vital junction for the ancient Maritime Silk Road. Today, it stands as the only open coastal city in Western China and an essential gateway connecting the country with Southeast Asia. Though nestled on the shores of the South China Sea, the city's name, Beihai, literally means North Sea. The Beibu Gulf along China's southern coast enjoys an average annual temperature of 22.4 degrees Celsius. The favorable climate and clear waters create an ideal environment for the growth and reproduction of pearl oysters. Known as the Pearl City, Beihai has been harvesting these treasures since the Qin Dynasty, roughly 2,000 years ago. Back then, people collected pearl-bearing oysters from the sea. Today, pearl farming involves artificially implanting nuclei into the oysters, stimulating them to secrete nacre and form pearls.
我们的南珠一般生产在马氏珠母贝里面产出来的珍珠是比较多彩，珠层比较厚，比较亮丽，所以呢，我们这个南珠在国际上还是比较出名的。
The growth of pearl oysters is closely tied to the seasonal changes in plankton and water temperature. Pearl farmers adjust the depth of the floating rafts according to the season, ensuring the oysters thrive in the optimal water layer for growth. In ancient times, Nanzhou pearls were seawater pearls from the Beihai region. Known for their fine texture and enduring luster, they were hailed as the finest pearls under heaven and cherished as national treasures, often offered as tributes to imperial families. It is these exquisite pearls that first made Beihai a focal point of attention. Beihai lies at the southern tip of Guangxi, bordering the Beibu Gulf, the only sea area in western China. It is the southwest region's gateway to the ocean. Beihai's urban area is a peninsula that some say resembles a rhinoceros horn. The history of this city, which boasts a vast sea area, long coastline, and intricate network of bays and lagoons, tells of a civilization born from and flourishing by the sea. Herpu is a small, unassuming county that today forms part of Beihai. Once, it was the true heart of this land. In the Song era, Herpu belonged to Lianzhou Prefecture, which is why the county seat today is called Lianzhou Ancient Town. Herpu native Fan Xiangyu has long studied the area's history. In his view, Lianzhou Ancient Town largely retains the layout it had centuries ago.
这条街就是府民街，这个地方是南流江的商客，他们把那个货物运到这个地方。露天建了一个市场，古代叫蓄地街。后来随着社会经济的发展，大家聚集在一起了，这里就改成一条固定的街道，就取名为富民街，也就是说，船民们在这里上下码头装卸的地方。
Fumin Street originated in the Song Dynasty as a trading hub outside the western gate of Lianzhou. The market was close to the docks, and as the locals referred to the traveling merchants as bumin, or port people, the market became known as Bumin Market. Over time, the growth of Bumin Market led to the establishment of a permanent street, eventually becoming known as Fumin Street. East of Fumin Street and across the river lies the ancient town of Lianzhou. The Shimen River was a vital waterway connecting the town to the outside world. Beihai Bridge, originally called Jinsumen Bridge, spans 36 meters and was built in the early 16th century. It was the most important crossing on the river.
这个桥就是直接连接连州古城的石门楼。由于南流江、石门江水道的交通的便利，从海里面上来的货物都集中在这一带。
Most of the neighborhoods in Lianzhou were built close to the Shimen River. The waterway ensured smooth flows of people and goods, and it was this accessibility that brought business opportunities. The Zhierong Gold and Silver Jewelry Store on Fumin Street has been operating for more than 300 years. The current owner, Li Huanghongju, is 78 years old. For as long as he can remember, his life has been filled with the ting-tang of jewelry making. Li Huanghongju cherishes a pearl hairpin passed down through his family. This Qing hairpin was once part of a phoenix crown worn by brides from wealthy families. The hairpin is also inlaid with imported agate and lapis lazuli. More than 200 years ago, the fusion of Chinese and Western cultural elements in Lianzhou made the town vibrant and fashionable. More than 2,000 years ago, the area now known as Beihai was part of Hepu Prefecture. The Lingchu Canal, built in the Qin Dynasty, linked the Xiangjiang, Lijiang, and Nanliu rivers. This formed the most convenient route from the Central Plains to the Beibu Gulf and onward to Southeast Asia. Nanzhou pearls were already a hot commodity in the Han Dynasty. Many merchants from the Central Plains traveled here to purchase them. The pearls spurred rapid trade growth in Hepu, and migrants from the Central Plains and other places continued to flock to the region.
只要你仔细认真的对这个地图，它的汉墓群的范围还有封土堆，你都可以描得清楚。河浦汉墓群分布面积达70平方公里，就分布在我们县城及其周围。我们考古人员去做过田调查，就是现在还残存在地表的这种封土堆有1000多个，所以通过考古来推断，它地下的这个墓葬埋藏量可能有万座。
Since the 1950s, more than 1,300 tombs have been excavated in Hepu County, with most dating to the Han era. Around 20,000 artifacts have been unearthed. Among them is this green-glazed pottery jar from the Eastern Han Dynasty. Archaeologists believe it came from ancient Persia. This string of multifaceted purple crystal beads is considered important evidence of trade along the Han Dynasty Maritime Silk Road, with its craftsmanship traced to the Deccan Plateau in southern India. These findings provide evidence that more than 2,000 years ago, the lives of Hepu's residents were already infused with elements of foreign cultures.
合浦它和越南和这个东南亚呢，在陆路上呢相连非常近。汉代的海上丝绸之路的贸易呢，不仅限于南珠，还有很多的丝绸也是从这个地方走的，这样才使得它这个地方能够逐渐的发展起来。
It's 3 p.m. and fisherman Li is returning home from a trip on his small boat. He lives in Beihai's Weizhou inner port. Shaped by the tides and waves, long sandbars have formed parallel to the coastline. The waters between these sandbars and the mainland are known as lagoons. It is on this natural foundation that the area developed into a thriving port.
攞唔仔嚟啊買啊！有啲有幾多嘢？
有十幾廿間。
十幾廿間啊！咁今日封山啦，仲有咪有幾多？今日釣得到嘛？
係啊。
The fishermen of Weizhou inner port once lived on board their boats. Today, most have settled on shore, yet they still rely heavily on the sea. The fishing skills passed down through generations remain important for local people's livelihoods. Weizhou Inner Port was a desolate, sparsely populated place in the early Ming Dynasty. With enforcement of the Ming's maritime ban, the once thriving Lianzhou port fell into decline. Its fishermen naturally began migrating southward to Weizhou. Traders soon followed, drawn by opportunities, and a bustling commercial district emerged. This old street, now known as Zhuhai Road, marks the origins of Beihai. The city takes its name from its distinct geography, where the sea lies to the north of the land.
合浦和我国的沿海其他城市一样，就是在形成之初啊，由于那个时候的船只啊比较小，一般来讲都是在内港，就是内河的河港里来建设的，就距离海岸都有一定的距离。那么随着船只的变化，抵御风浪的能力越来越大，那么逐渐的向外移，移到海的周边来发展。因为合浦它毕竟是内陆港，那么它的贸易量也相对来讲比较小，那么承担不了那么多的功能，所以它的地位呢逐渐就衰落了，取而代之的呢就是贸易量更大的北海港。
Pang Weishan opens his shop on Zhuhai Road every morning at 8 a.m. He does a roaring trade selling tong sui, a popular dessert traditionally enjoyed by the people of Guangdong province, of which Beihai was once part.
扎古米是那个我们北海特产，是有几百年历史的。
爷爷这一代就挑瓷器沿街叫卖，这条街比较兴旺、最繁华的街道嘛，为了方便在这里买卖啊、做生意啊，所以就会在这里买房子。
For Feng Jing, an urban planning expert, Beihai's layout, with streets built around the port and the city expanding from there, reflects a spatial structure that embodies the openness and freedom of maritime culture.
我们现在看到的就是老街的街闸，然后从外形上看，它是一个高度在3米、宽度在3到4米这样一个大门框作为它的主体结构。
When Beihai opened as a port, it quickly began attracting merchant ships and migrants. Street gates were installed in each neighborhood to prevent nighttime thefts and robberies. Merchants pooled funds to hire watchmen who were responsible for opening and closing the gates at dawn and dusk. The gates formed a defense system for Beihai's old town. Beihai is a city born from the sea. Its old town features a network of streets, including a main road parallel to the coastline and numerous alleys leading to the sea. This layout creates an urban pattern in which every lane connects to the water.
这条巷子就是一条典型的通海横巷，像这样的横巷在老街上其实有很多条，基本上是南北向走向的，然后既起到了就对北海老街的这个交通啊、排水啊、消防啊，包括通风的一些功能以外，最主要的实际上是加强了这个老街和码头之间的这个交通联系。
The word for city in Chinese are chengxi. In ancient times, cheng and xi had entirely different meanings. Cheng, or city, referred to a walled settlement where people lived, while xi, or market, denoted a place for trade and commerce. Beihai was established without city walls, existing initially as a xi and gradually developed from there.
北海是中国华南地区面向东南亚的一个天然良港，具有得天独厚的海洋交通条件的。一方面，北海靠近中国西南部，像云南、贵州、四川等这些资源丰富但又交通相对闭塞的内陆省份，通过水陆联运的方式，北海有效地改善了这些地区的对外交通联系。另一方面，北海港的水域开阔，航道深且稳定，具有良好的对外贸易港口的天然优势。
In 1876, the signing of the Yantai Treaty between the United Kingdom and the Qing Dynasty opened Beihai as a treaty port. Western powers such as the UK, France, and Germany established consulates here, and the architectural style in the old town began to change. Built in 1883, the Beihai Customs Building is one of the oldest Western-style buildings still standing in the city. Though the customs was established by the Qing government, all key positions were held by foreigners, earning it the nickname Beihai Foreign Customs. Long Chi-ming lives just across the street from the building.
我们家路上呢，一直都是做那个海上运输。我们有2条船，旁边都是沙滩，这里以前都没有房子，我们的船就靠在这里。所以我现在住这个地方，实际上就是我们船的一个工棚。后来随着生意扩大了以后，北海的运输比较兴旺了，我们就在这里把它建起来一个房子，就在这里住。
These arcade buildings, which blend Chinese and Western architectural styles, are the result of over half a century of cultural fusion. Originating in South Asia and known as veranda buildings, they were designed with covered walkways at the front to provide shade from the region's intense tropical sun. Arcade buildings usually have 2 to 3 stories, with parapets adorned with intricate relief carvings atop their exterior walls. They blend Western architectural features with locally adapted innovations. Given Beihai's frequent typhoons in summer and autumn, the circular openings in the arcades were ingeniously designed to enhance wind resistance and reduce structural load in harsh conditions. Every afternoon, Long Chi-ming drinks tea and chats with his neighbors under the arcade, a tradition that's lasted for many years.
我们说的借人家的烟火，互相帮忙，介绍你的经验。
Beneath the arcade, people gather to chat, cool off, drink tea, and host guests. It's also a space where children can do their homework and play. This 200-year-old street, with its timeless architectural style, has become an important platform for cultural exchange. Beihai's arcade buildings are not just a type of architecture, but a way of life. Mangroves are plant communities that grow in shallow intertidal zones. They are only fully exposed when the tide recedes. The wood contains rich tannic acid and turns red upon being cut and exposed to oxygen. Mangroves, which remain evergreen throughout the year, are a vital marine ecosystem for tropical and subtropical coastlines, providing shelter and food for many animals.
这边都是我们村民热爱的海面，每天都靠这边挖沙虫、挖海螺。
With the tide now receded, villagers comb the beach for precious peanut worms. Peanut worms are highly sensitive to environmental quality and cannot survive if the seawater or tidal flats are polluted. The The roots, stems, and leaves of mangroves have excellent filtering capabilities, creating an ideal breeding ground for peanut worms. Digging for peanut worms is no easy task. The creatures possess remarkable burrowing skills and can quickly disappear into the ground when disturbed. Experienced fishermen know to look for the holes in the sand and then dig to expose them.
因为那个沙虫都是吃沙和水的，它在沙滩里面已经做好洞了，但是上面就会隐形了。我一敲它，就会冒泡泡，或者有一点水花直接喷出来。必须要这样敲才找到它的眼，甚至它的眼就慢慢挖到它的，把它挖出来了。
拔一下松一下，拔一下松一下。
你看它的脑袋会伸缩。
哎，哦哟，这老大，沙虫，你怎么会挖到这么大呢？
Peanut worms are delicious and rich in protein, making them a highly prized delicacy. One common way to prepare them is to steam them with garlic, which preserves their natural flavor. The peanut worms are arranged neatly on a plate, topped with chopped garlic, drizzled with soy sauce, and steamed. After a morning of work on the beach, this simple dish is a tasty treat for those living by the sea. Every August, after a 3.5-month fishing moratorium, the South China Sea once again welcomes the start of the fishing season. The Beihai Gulf, a semi-enclosed bay, is one of China's 4 major fishing grounds. Its shallow coastal waters, vast tidal flats, and flat seabed create an ideal environment for the growth of plankton and benthic organisms, providing rich food resources for fish. In the early hours, while most people are still asleep, the Qiaogang seafood market is already bustling. Catch-laden fishing boats have just docked and are immediately surrounded by eager merchants. Selecting good seafood is not simple. It requires not only a keen eye, but also extensive experience. Using dim flashlights, buyers carefully assess the quality and grade of the seafood to secure the best prices. Time is tight. Before dawn breaks, the seafood must be transported to markets near and far to ensure freshness. Fresh seafood is abundant and affordable in Beihai. According to the latest statistics, the city produces approximately 1.25 million tons of marine seafood every year. Given its permanent population of 1.88 million, on average, each person can enjoy nearly 700 kilograms of seafood a year, if all of it were consumed locally. The volcanic Weizhou Island sits about 21 nautical miles south of Beihai's urban area in the Beihai Gulf. Over millions of years, countless volcanic eruptions and ocean storms, as well as the constant interaction between seawater and coastline, have shaped the island's stunning geographical features. According to historical records, Weizhou Island was part of Herpu Prefecture in the Han Dynasty. Early settlers began arriving to escape the chaos of war. Zhang Yingliang grew up on Weizhou Island. Every year, as spring becomes summer, he can witness the blue tears, a rare natural phenomenon that occurs on clear nights when the tide rises.
以前我们读书的时候，晚上是坐着那个船去北海，就会看到海面发出星星点点的蓝光，但光芒并不刺眼，会随着海浪起伏。但是我们不知道那是蓝眼泪，我们以为海上都是这个样子的，特别漂亮。
The phenomenon of blue tears is caused by Noctiluca scintillans, a type of single-cell phytoplankton. When large clusters of them are disturbed by waves, they emit a stunning blue glow. Weizhou Island's warm waters, rich nutrients, winds, tidal conditions, and crystal clear seas create a perfect environment for this mesmerizing spectacle. Today, the island is a popular tourist destination. Zhang Yingliang, who now works as a designer, chose to return to his hometown to rediscover the place.
岛上以前建房子，所有都是珊瑚石，因为它岛上它是没有建材的，就只有到海边去开采这个珊瑚石，回来建房子，它才有房子住。
Coral stone is formed from the secretions of coral polyps. As large colonies of coral polyps grow, metabolize, and reproduce, they secrete limestone composed of calcium carbonate. Over long periods, layers of limestone accumulate, eventually forming underwater reefs. Being resistant to erosion from sea winds, breathable and moisture-absorbing, coral stone had long been used by settlers on Weizhou Island to build houses. These homes stayed warm in winter and cool in summer, earning them the nickname breathing houses. As part of environmental protection efforts, the quarrying of coral stone on Weizhou Island has been banned. For Zhang Yingliang, the challenge now lies in how to artfully incorporate the limited remaining coral stone into hotel designs. Like him, many young people who had left the island are returning, rediscovering a sense of belonging. Every winter and spring, the waters around Weizhou Island become a haven for bride's whales, which measure 10 to 13 meters long and weigh up to 15 tons. The deep waters and abundant food supply make this area an ideal feeding ground and nursery for these majestic creatures during breeding season. All life thrives upon the generous gifts of nature. Beihai was born from the sea, and for centuries, the sea has sustained those who call this city home. Today, Beihai is not only a tourist destination, but also a rapidly emerging modern industrial hub. Abundant quartz sand along its coastline has fueled the city's fast-growing photovoltaic industry, making Beihai one of China's top 3 producers of photovoltaic glass. With the deepening of the Belt and Road Initiative, Beihai's geographic position has solidified its role as a key gateway for maritime trade and cultural exchange between China and Southeast Asia. This 2,000-year-old port city is now unlocking even greater potential from the sea.